Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken and Ken take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in their voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken and Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. Live and loud, that break in the mind. Ken and the bold. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploded like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're all force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Wankers.
There we go. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the morning. I don't know why my mic was muted like that.
That's what I was just wondering.
Wake up, Fred. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Joe. How was you guys' weekend?
Good.
Easy.
Well, at least makes one or two of us.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I found interesting football-wise, I mean, there are a couple of, coaching positions, OCs, coach for this, coach for that, like the non-ooh stuff. The Dolphins, however, released Bradley Chubb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that this morning, last night, something like that. And
Yeah, so that'll become interesting. So him and Jalen Phillips are both going to be free agents. I'm sure there'll be some teams kicking the tires on those guys.
yeah, it
Depending on how much he wants, because I don't think Chubb's going to get another contract like the one he had with Miami.
No, he's not. And last year, his stat line, I just saw it, was not terrible. Last year he had 8.5 sacks, 22 pressures as the starter. People were trying to get him at the trade deadline. Of course, they didn't move him, which in a weird way doesn't make sense because they could have gotten something. Now they're going to release him. They're going to save, if they designate him a post June 1st, they save $20 million on the cap. Okay.
hey there, Woody.
Hey, Woody. He had no guaranteed money for this year, so
Yeah,
yeah, I think
of course you'd like a Chubb.
Yeah, there are a few teams that like a Chubb.
I wouldn't mind if the Raiders kicked the tires to put him across from Max Crosby, man. Like,
I mean, I think for the Bears defense, obviously we got to re-sign some safeties. Nahshon Wright, possibly. I think they should re-sign Nahshon, or at least try to. Your cornerback room can never be deep enough, right? But really, that's the big piece the Bears defense was missing, was that pass rush. I mean, I don't know if I want to pay Chubb the money though. For Chubb with Sweat, I mean, I don't know if Chubb's the guy. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what else is out there in free agency that the Bears have availability to get. I mean, would Chubb be an upgrade over Dio? Yes. But would I want him to supplant Booker overall? I don't think so. Booker came on towards the end of the season there for the Bears. He was the second-year player. Booker played pretty good ball. I mean, you were hearing his name quite a bit, the last couple games. I mean, Packer fans definitely know who Booker is now. I don't know. I guess it depends on how much money he costs. Packers would like him. I mean, you guys would like him to go. That'd be a nice 1-2. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I guess the Packers might be in the same boat as the Bears when it comes to
We've already got issues with who we're going to be keeping and letting go at our edge room. That Igne Barry seems like he's most likely gone. Rashawn Gary, if he doesn't take a pay cut, he seems like he's most likely gone. So maybe if you let both of them walk out the door, but other than that, if one of them stays, I don't see it.
Is Rashawn Gary going to be a free agent, or would he be a cut?
No, he would have to be a cut because he's under that big contract that he signed and is not living up to.
Wait, but when you guys made the Micah Parsons trade, wasn't he killing it for like the first half of the season?
Yes,
did,
but
28
even before Micah got injured, his pass rush fell off a fucking cliff. He went
so Rashawn Gary
like 9-10 weeks without a sack.
Well, here's the case for Rashawn Gary. If you cut him post June 1st designation, you save 19.5 mil. Your dead cap is only 8.5. No guaranteed money this year. So it's the same kind of situation for the Packers there as it was for the Dolphins. So I can see why kind of be like, well, I don't know if Chubb would be it because we're basically cutting the same guy.
That's why I'd much rather just have Gary take a pay cut at that point than release him and maybe bring Chubb in. But even then, that doesn't really move the needle for me.
I'll take Rashawn Gary opposite Max Crosby for the right price.
I was going to say it depends on what you want to give up for him because we could make that happen.
No, I would just wait for you guys to cut him, and then I'll just sign him in free agency.
Well, in the Bears, our interesting guy to cut would be Tremaine Edmonds, right? Who, look at Tremaine Edmonds is one of those linebackers that some Bears fans would be happy to see gone. Other Bear fans would be very upset to see gone because a lot of what he doesn't necessarily show up in the stat line for him personally, but it does for his teammates, right? But he's going to start the year on the IR. So the Bears have two guys that would be like Dio is another guy who I'm like, let's not pay him 20 mil. He's going to start the year on the IR. Those are two guys who are cut possibilities. Like Dio, if you made him a post June 1st, I think he's like 20 million. Yeah. His cap is 20 million. If you cut him post June 1st, you take 17.5 dead, 3 million in savings. So you might not cut him, but you know what you're going to do? You're going to leave the dude in the IR the whole year. Like he's going to get paid, but he's not going to play a single down in Chicago. So that's how you get, you deal with that. With Edmonds, you could do the same thing. You don't have to cut either of those guys, and you can still use that cap. It's really weird the way the cap is working. So I'm wondering. I don't know. I'm wondering what the Bears are going to do in these situations with Dio and Tremaine Edmonds. I really like Tremaine Edmonds. Look at his cap number is only 17 million. So it's not that bad. But I'm wondering how many restructures we're going to see during this next week or so. Like guys like DJ Moore, Jalen Johnson, maybe Micah Parsons, right? Maybe he does a restructure.
He could, but. Yeah, I was going to say, but I don't think it frees up too much of shit because the deal that he did was already relatively cap friendly.
47.5 mil a year is cap friendly.
Yeah, Micah Parsons can only save him 1.1 mil.
Yeah,
Rashawn Gary would save him 8.7. Aaron Banks could save him 10 million. That's the only two guys that could save significant. Well, three guys. Love, Gary, and Banks could save the Packers significant money. McKinney and Jacobs a decent, 4 or 5 million. They're only 1.4 million over the cap right now, so their work.
They're not too worried about it. That's one of those you get just one restructure done and it fixes it.
But are you worried that Josh Jacobs has officially started his? I was going to say, are you worried that Josh Jacobs has officially started his decline?
No, I do not, because I think his issues last year were from all the issues that we had on the offensive line. Pretty much every handoff he was taking, he was having to make a guy miss as soon as he got the handoff. And Josh Jacobs is a momentum type of guy. So I think that's a
Oh, so
lot
you
of
mean wait?
his
The
struggles.
problem you said the Bear didn't exist. The Pack, well, not you, Ken, but Packer fans in general said, "Well, that's an excuse. That doesn't exist. That's not the reason." When the Bears were saying their offensive line was crap. Okay, just saying.
That the Bears were saying their offensive line was crap. Yeah, well, I'm saying our
Our
offensive line
was
last year
crap.
was crap.
Well, no, last year, yeah, but before that, coming into last season, we're like, look at like, well, when people talk about Swift, like Swift's okay. Oh no, he's crap. 950 yards on a bad offensive line. Oh, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Now when it comes to Josh Jacobs, well, the offensive line wasn't that good last year, so that took his numbers down.
What,
okay.
Well, a lot to do with Swift. It happens to be what happened with other teams too. So it wasn't just with the Bears.
He put up 950 yards, Joey. Remember that? Packer fans like, oh yeah, Swift's not that good, and actually some other NFC North fans. Oh, Swift's not that good. He put up 950 yards on a bad O-line. Well, that O-line doesn't make a difference. Blah, blah, blah. Now, hey, are we looking at the decline of Josh Jacobs? Well, I don't think we are because that offensive line was pretty bad last year. Really? You see how this goes as an argument, guys? I mean,
I was actually it wasn't his numbers.
At you, at other fans in general, the people in the comments who type this stuff. It's like, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, Ken. I think you're right. Josh Jacobs' production was down in a large part because of the offensive line and some of the scheme. You're correct. I'm just pointing out the irony of that argument for a lot of fan bases right now.
And I wasn't even really pointing to Jacobs' numbers as much. Like, I feel like, he's always had small injuries during the course of a season that he makes him miss a game or two or three. But even when he comes back from those injuries, he's still playing with the injuries, right? And I feel like he played injured a lot this last season. Like, you could just tell that he wasn't his normal self. And that generally doesn't get better. It generally gets worse. He's at what? He's got to be 28 or 29 right now.
Him and LaFleur had gotten into issues about his knee that it seemed like one of them wanted him to shut it down and rest it, and the other wanted him to kind of play through a little extra. And
a lot of that goes to, though, what Joe said feeds into what Ken said. Because, Josh Jacobs, like many running backs who start in this league, are playing with injuries by week 5, right? If not sooner. And for the rest of the season. And in the past, Josh Jacobs would play with some of these injuries, and it was mitigated some because he had decent offensive line play that would help him out a little bit. This year, he had the burden more of the load because the offensive line wasn't.
Oh, yeah, the offensive line last year was terrible.
So those nagging injuries became more pronounced as far as what you saw on the field. And people are saw that maybe for the first time in a year or two. And so now the question goes, ooh, is he on the decline? Well, yes, he is. They all are. As they get older, they start to decline. Not many of these guys, running backs, after they hit 26, 27, all of a sudden get into a prime. No, they've already passed it for the most part. They might get a flash season, right? But, I mean, they're pretty much past their, there's going to be some kind of degradation now every year as these guys get a little bit older and slower and more nicked up. But the offensive line play just kind of magnifies that to the fan. I mean, Josh Jacobs will come out next year, have another 1,000+ yard year and all that. If the offensive line play is great, he's still not going to be as good as he was 3 years ago overall. But I mean, he can still put up good numbers. But I think the offensive line issues in Green Bay are a lot worse than what people realize.
Oh, they absolutely are. I don't remember the exact numbers, but we went from, when I say last year, I mean the previous season, not the one that just passed. We went from last year being somewhere or in the 5-10 range to now they dropped all the way into the 20s. That is such a huge step down that I don't know how anybody can't say that the offensive line was absolutely abysmal for us last year. You can't take that kind of step back and try to even tell me the offensive line did serviceable.
Yeah, JB, we already talked about Bradley Chubb being released. That usually happens in the first 5 minutes, man, with something big like that. Yeah. For the most part.
But
Though,
I'm just
look
saying,
at
that Jacob. Oh, go on.
what now?
Oh, I was just saying, like Jacobs. If I don't know his current age, but he was drafted in I think 19, so he's got seven seasons at least under his belt, right?
Oh yeah, he's got
Like,
some wear and tear on him, man.
so
I
he's
mean,
like at
Yeah,
least
he's
27, 28,
Yeah, he's 28.
28,
Like
which in
just
running
turned
back years
28.
is already like you've already
Up there.
outlived the NFL average, right? But just the fact that every year he's got injuries and he's playing through injuries, like I don't know. I'm not saying that they should get rid of him this year per se, but I definitely think that they should go draft a good young running back to spell him, or if you have a guy, your second string guy that you like start giving him more carries because
Yeah, I'm right
if you
there.
want
don't
to
be
keep Jacobs for
surprised.
another year or
Hey,
two, he can't be carrying the ball 350 times, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Don't,
I'm with
don't
you,
be
Joe.
surprised if Green Bay spends a lot of draft capital on the offensive line this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some Packer fans might want different players like a running back or a wide receiver or maybe another
Give
tight end or some other defensive help. I would not be surprised or shocked if they spend a lot of draft capital on offensive linemen this year.
give me a left tackle, and you can even give me a little bit of a project guy. Now, I don't want some major project guy, a little bit of one for center. Because Sean Ryan, as long as we re-sign him, and I don't see why we wouldn't, because the guy's going to be cheap as shit, actually played pretty good at center for us, to where I would be okay having him as our center while we develop another guy to eventually be that starting guy.
Well, I think maybe one of your first 3 picks is an offensive lineman, and then you're going to get guys in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So that's 4 picks. I think you spend 3 to 4 picks on offensive linemen out of the 7 or 8 you've got.
I was going to say you give me 3-4 linemen, especially if you have one somewhere in like the 3rd round or something like that.
You don't
and
have
then the
first
rest are
round pick,
developmental.
so your first
Yeah.
pick's in the 2nd round. I would not be surprised if that was an offensive lineman.
I would much rather get a corner there. Well,
Hey, Ken.
unless you have, unless you got a nice left tackle.
I mean, it depends on what's available at that place in the draft. If you got a good offensive lineman early in the 2nd, or where you draft in the 2nd, you might take them. It's tick for tack. It's personal preference, I guess, at that point. But I mean, still, if they have like 6 picks, I could see the Packers using half of them in offensive linemen this year, honestly. And they got some a little bit of cap maneuverability, not much. But they got a little bit. And they need to sign a guy. I don't see the Packers being massively busy this offseason. I mean, it depends. Like if they don't cut Rashawn Gary, for example, that's going to limit them to about $20 million right now. They don't have much many restructures they can do. They're going to have like 20, 25 million to sign their draft picks and a free agent probably. Plus what some other, the miscellaneous guys they need to sign to every team. Oh, there's always 4 or 5 or 6 guys for $1 million a pop that fill out your roster. I don't see them being that busy. And conversely, for the Bears, I don't see the Bears being that busy either. Like, we need an edge. I like how Booker's coming along. So I don't know how his evaluation completely is in terms of the team. But I mean, fans are like, the fans' consensus is we need an edge. Okay, so let's roll with that. We got to re-sign some. We have no safeties on the roster right now. We got a corner that we need to possibly look at re-signing. The good news for the Bears is the offense is taken care of. There's nothing the Bears need to do offensively. Everyone's under contract. It's all on the defensive side of the ball, which was the weak spot last year. But I don't see the Bears being massively busy this offseason in terms of signing. They're not going to be like the Raiders or another team that could get busy if they want to. The Lions, they could get busy. They got some money. They got some needs. The Vikings, I don't see them being that busy except for their quarterback search. I mean,
If they even do a quarterback search, they might. I mean, at this point, they're kind of tied to JJ.
they don't have a first. JB?
Yeah.
He might, I think he's talking about the Lions.
Oh, well, I mean, the Lions, like, look at they got off. The Lions are another team that need offensive line help. I mean, the Vikings do too, but I don't think to the degree that the Packers
Yeah.
and the Lions do. So, I mean, the Bears are set. Okay, he's talking Lions. The
Yeah,
Bears are
that's what I
set.
thought.
The other three teams need work a little bit. The Vikings probably the least, even though they could use it. But their biggest problem is their quarterback position right now. Do they roll with JJ yet again? Like maybe they do and they give the fair shot, but if JJ was a Quezzy pick that KOC didn't want, then I could see them giving up on that real quick. But they don't have the money per se to maybe go get the guy. I don't know. If that's going to be an interesting situation with them. Green Bay and the Lions they're still good teams. They've won 9 games, right? I mean, everyone in this division has won 9 games. They're all good teams. But the Lions, if you look at their offensive line, the production last year from the year before, big drop down, right? So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Jetta just signed the big deal. He's not leaving anytime soon.
I was going to say, remember they said the exact same thing about Odell Beckham, and you see what happened
He's
with
not
that.
Odell Beckham, though. I mean,
Yeah,
look at JJ. And you know what, JJ is one of those receivers. Like the dude's. I like JJ. The guy's he's not. His ego is not.
He was I was going to say he was kind of crashing out last year.
He doesn't have the Devontae Adams type ego.
From what I saw from last year, it ain't that far from it.
I mean, I can get he's unhappy that the team's not winning in the quarterback situation, but McCarthy is it might be a dumpster fire, but he's shown flashes where they're going to go with him for the year. They have no choice really, unless some other quarterback luckily falls in their lap. I mean,
And there are none this year. That's the thing is I think they're tied to JJ for this year.
Yeah.
But and I don't think that's a bad thing because you're gonna the worst thing you could do though if you're the Vikings is go and win 9 games this year. Like, I think you should
if he's
try to get in it towards the top of that draft because next year's draft class for quarterbacks, you're gonna have 4 or 5 first round guys.
McCarthy, look, we saw some good flashes on McCarthy, and if he can be a decent quarterback next year, they'll win 9-10 games.
Mm-hmm.
In Green Bay, like same thing. That every team in this division is capable. We saw it this year. They all won 9. They're all just as capable. So we're talking about needs for these teams. They're not like the Bears were.
Glaring need.
It's not like the Bears were last year coming into the off season. Was like, all right, that offensive line needs a complete overhaul, and they did that. None of these teams have that overhaul situation for any position groups. Like the Bears, well, look, our defense wasn't great last year. We like our corners. We like our safeties, assuming we re-signed them. Our linebacking core, we're happy, but yeah, we could use an upgrade. And people, like I said, people don't like Edmonds for whatever reason, but he's going to start the year on the IR. Last year, Edmonds and Edwards, between the two of them, were on the IR a lot. So I can understand that. And hey, we need pass rush. We need better pass rush. And I think the pass rush got better towards the back end of the season as Booker came on, right, and started to play well. So I mean, yeah, we need to fix some things there, but it's not like overhaul. Green Bay has issues in terms of the offensive line wasn't healthy. And they need to fix that.
Yeah,
Rashawn Gary didn't produce for good, basically the second half of the season. So I can understand why Packer fans might be like, well, maybe it's time to dump his salary and spend it elsewhere because we do still need some help other areas. But the Lions, it's like I don't know what they can really. They just need to draft and look at free agency. They've got money, so their options to fix are different, right? They need some O-line help. They need a little defensive help, not much. I mean, all 4 of these teams are sitting in a pretty good spot. Then you get the Raiders. You guys need really the Raiders don't need a lot, but they need a lot. You know what I'm saying? They've got a lot, but they need a lot. It's weird.
I actually think, but I actually think this year for the Raiders, I think it. I mean, I don't know what their plan is, obviously, because I'm not in the building. But to me, the logical thing to do is you can't fix, even if you have 100 million in cap space, you can't fix both sides of the ball in one off season and turn them both into serviceable or good units. Like,
Well, the
I mean,
Bears kind of proved in a weird way that you can, though, because look at you could fix the O line via free agency and then
mhm.
address all your defensive needs in the draft and make them both serviceable in 1 year.
But
Now,
the
do you
Raiders,
make yourself a division champ in 1 year? Maybe not that way. And maybe you're right, it's a 2 year process, but you could definitely because your defense with you guys already having Max Crosby there and some guys like Jeremy Chin who play at a high level. I mean, what do you really if you get another good edge rusher in the draft, let's say you get your quarterback in the draft, in the second round you get an edge rusher, and then you start addressing some other defensive needs in the draft, and you sign O line. You've got your running back, you got your tight end, you do need a receiver. But I mean,
mhm.
you could maybe get 75% complete in year one.
Yeah,
That's
but
serviceable.
if it's me, the offense was the real problem last year. Like the defense looked bad because they were on the field because
Right.
we couldn't stay on the field longer than 3 plays at a time. So and sometimes it wasn't even 3 plays before Gino threw a pick. So in my opinion, they should try to do everything they can to address the offense this year so that Mendoza comes in, hits the ground running. I think having an offense that can sustain a drive will automatically improve your defense. Like,
So right now you have 91.5 mil in cap. Do
mhm.
you think they're gonna cut Geno Smith?
um, I think it's a strong possibility. I don't see anybody giving up anything for him. So
So Geno Smith, that the reason I asked, I just pulled up his post June 1st numbers. He's designated post June 1st cut. $18.5 million dead cap, but an 8 million savings, which now gives you $99.5 million to spend with
plus the increase in
48
the
on
cap,
the roster. Plus,
plus the increase in the cap.
right, so you're looking at roughly 120 to 130 mil.
Hmm.
Dude,
And
you can
then
get a lot of stuff
so
for that.
yeah, like my first thing, like I said, is go back the Brinks truck up in front of Tyler Linderbaum's house and sign him. And then I would go for a right tackle, Jermaine Illuminor, preferably because he's already been a Raider before, and he's not going to break the bank, but he's a serviceable guy. Um, I think with two offensive line pieces on the free agency, you could solidify your starting five, but then it's just about depth. So I would use later round picks to get some guys in there. Plus you have 2 rookies that like Caleb Rogers, he played a little bit last year, but the other dude that we drafted, he didn't even get a shot. So we still have some guys that we haven't even tried out yet. We need a receiver. I would take some of that. Honestly, why not? I would take some of that free agent money and make an offer to George Pickens because I think, you know, unless he wants a stupid like JJ like $40 million a year contract, like a Jamar Chase contract,
Right.
then I would consider it. Because that instantly, like, if you put Pickens out there with Brock Bowers and you got some young guys that, Jack Betch and Dante Thornton, who didn't see a whole lot of production their first year, but they saw some playing time. Um, and you fix the offensive line, all of a sudden your offensive is serviceable, and I think your defense gets better just by not having to be on the field as much, right? You can still use some draft picks to address the defense. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I just think that for me, what makes the most sense is to try to address the offense as much as you possibly can so that Mendoza gets in there and he struggles as little as possible because he's a rookie. He's going to have struggles already. So
Well, let me look at Spotrac. We haven't used that in a while because we're always on over the cap.
mhm.
Let's look at
Are you
free
looking at
agent.
Pickens's market value?
I'm gonna look at that. I want to look. Don't they have a free agent list? They should have a free agent list. That's what happens when you don't use them in a while. All right, so we want to look at wide receivers in general. I want to see if they're better than. Where pages they should be in simplify. Okay, so Mike Evans is going nowhere. Christian Kirk is going to be available possibly. He's at UFA. Debo, where is your boy at? I don't even see Pickens on the list. But there's
I'm pretty sure.
yeah. There's
You found him?
Yeah, 20. So he'll be 25. Market value is about 30 mil. Oh, I like how they did that. They added a line of market value. So you don't have to look the player up individually. They already show you the market value. Oh, that's nice. So Pickens' market value is about 30 mil.
Which, I mean, it's expensive, but you can actually get a lot of that cap number down through like bonuses. Well, actually, the cap number will be, I don't know. I think you can work something out with bonuses and things like that to where you're not, taking 30 million on the cap.
And actually, if you think about it, you can get Christian Kirk, whose market value is about 5.3 million right now. He's coming off this big contract where Houston overpaid him. But if you could get him in tandem, you'd have a nice little 1-2 punch. Like for 5 million, Kirk is probably worth it.
Yeah, I just don't want to saturate the wide receiver room. Like we just drafted 2 young wide receivers. I want to give them a chance to develop because I think Betch can turn into like a pretty good third option kind of, third down possession kind of guy. And Dante Thornton is like, he's a burner, man. He's 6'4" or 6'5", 215 or 220 and runs like a 4.3, 5.40. Like he's been at Tennessee. He was a deep ball guy, but he did spend a year at Oregon where he learned to run routes, and he made some nice catches for us last year early in the season. But then, like I don't know what happened. Like he started dropping some balls. I mean, rookie-itis, I guess, But I'm interested to see how he comes into the second year. And
Actually, I got a question for Ken. Rasheed Walker, what are you going to do with him?
He's probably going to command too much money to bring back for what he's worth.
His market value is just over 20 million, according to us.
Yeah, I'm not bringing him back for that price. That's why, as you heard when we were talking about the offensive line, left tackle is what I want because I, for no reason, want Jordan Morgan anywhere near a starting position.
Let me ask you this question. Which guy do you think would you rather have on your team right now? Trey Hendrickson or Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack.
I was going to say probably Khalil Mack because he's at least
Trey Hendrickson's market value is 25.5 million. Khalil Mack 18.4.
With his age and coming off of that injury,
Mack is going to be 35. Hendrickson's going to be 32 ish. 3-year age gap. I find that one interesting because like Trey Hendrickson last year was the same thing. Everyone's like, who's going to get him? Who's going to get him? He stays put and then he's hurt. And he missed most of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, Mack is the better value because number one, you're not going to have to sign him to a long-term contract that's worth a lot of money. Number two, Mack, in my opinion, Mack does more. Mack can also play the run. He gets you strip sacks. That's actually one of Mack's specialties is strip sacks. Like he just has a nose or a hand on that ball. Like, every time Mack sacks you, you have to make sure that you're tucking that ball because he's always looking to strip it.
I would not mind him back in Chicago. I mean, I just hung his jersey on my wall that he signed. It'd be nice. And I'd have a current player on the wall. But I don't know if the Bears are going to do that because another guy who's interesting who, was not worth his contract last year was worth $1 million. Nation Wright Spotrac is valued about $16.5 million for that kid, which good on him. He deserves it, man. He balled out last year. So that makes me wonder why, that the Bears might not sign him, and they got to sign Brisker. Brisker is worth about 10 according to Spotrac, and we don't have any safeties. Bears got some work cut out. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the Bears are going to be that busy. But Mac, I look at that. I think that's interesting that Mac is worth less at edge than Trey Hendrickson. And what's funny? If you look at the free agents, the ages of the top 3 free agents, or the top 4, let's go to the top 4 free agents. Hendrickson at 31.2 years of age is the highest market value. Then Khalil Mack at 34.9. Son Reddick at 31.3. Did he really even do anything last year? And then Joey Bosa is a free agent for 13.7. And then Malcolm Koonce for the Raiders, who's 27.6 at 9.9. I think they might just re-sign him. Leonard Floyd is still kicking around worth at 33.4 years of age, 8.9 mil. I'd like to see him back in a Bears uniform. One of those guys that got away that you wish wouldn't have. So there's some, the edge. It's funny because all the guys are worth money. If I go to the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, top 10 guys, only 3 of them are sub 30 years old, and one of them is at 29.1, 27.9, and 27.6. And then actually you go to the 11th guy, he's 29.8. All these guys are old by NFL standards, right? Oh, wait, I didn't read the comics. I was looking at. I really think it'd be the Bears bench to draft a defensive edge. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't think the Bears, and the Bears have that in Booker, Ivan. They do, and Booker came on towards the end of last year. That's why I'm like, I don't think the Bears need to spend $25 million on an edge rusher. However, and Dio is still on the book at $20 million, but with him going to be starting the year in the IR and possibly never coming off it, just kicking the tires and seeing what's out there. Like, if I can get Khalil Mack on a decent deal, or Hassan Reddick's only $4.9 million, right, in his market value, or maybe Malcolm Koonce is worth about 9.9. I mean, there's some, or Leonard. Well, maybe not Leonard, but I'm saying I could bring in a kind of another bridge guy. Vita Vea, yeah. I don't know if they want to trade capital though. The Bears, their offseason work is simple. It's all defense. It's all defense. The entire offense is under contract. Like, seriously, all the wide receivers are under contract. Tight ends. Well, they not all the wide receivers. They have room for one guy, basically, off last year's 53. But offensively, the Bears are pretty tight. They don't have to do much. All their work's going to come on the defensive side of the ball, and that's in the safety room, edge, and linebacking core. All 3 levels of the Bears' defense need to be addressed. Not necessarily new players. Some of it is re-signs, draft. So I don't disagree with you, Ivan, but, would I be mad if the Bears brought Mack back on a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal where the second year is a team option? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be mad.
Well, there's also a guy out there in the draft. Everybody's paying attention to Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami and Arvell Reese from Ohio State. But there's a guy who I think will probably go early in the second round. He was Ruben Bain's fellow defensive end at Miami. His name's Akeem Mesidor. And he had a really good season and had a really good national championship game as well. They had Mendoza under pressure a lot. I think he would be an interesting piece if you're looking to draft and develop a guy. Honestly, I kind of just put it out there, but I was kind of hoping, because the Raiders have an early second round pick, I'm kind of hoping he's there at 36 when the Raiders pick, because I think that would be an excellent pick. You get him in there and then let Max start coaching him up.
I think Ken needs a fucking restraining order.
I'm like, I look at that. I had the same reaction you did. I saw your facial expression. I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. Look at
Was that in the wind?
No, there you go,
that.
Joe.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. You know what? And look at something dawned on me as you were saying all that, Joe, and rereading Ivan's comment. You know, look at the Bears are in that weird. I think the Bears are in this situation. Actually, I think all four teams in the North are in this situation. All four teams are kind of in the window right now. Would we agree on that? They're all in that window that are capable of making it to a Super Bowl with one or two minor tweaks. All four teams are in this time where if they got someone they really want in the first round, I could see them making packages to move up in the first round. Whether it's giving up next year's first round pick or something like that, all four of these teams are in a position where they can do that if they want to. I think the Bears might be sitting in a little bit of a better position in that regard in terms of being able to give up another first round. The Packers obviously can't. They made that move last year. But for them to move back into the first round this year, it's possible, and they could do it if it's going to fit that need. But I don't think the position groups that they need in is going to necessitate that. For the Bears,
unless you got like
get
some all-star fucking left tackle, that's the only guy that I'd want to move up.
If you can move up in the draft 10 spots, if you're the Bears, 10, 15 spots to get that edge rusher, it might be worth it for the Bears to make that move this year, right? And move up in the draft in the first round if you can get that edge rusher. I mean, think about it. The Packers gave up 2 first-rounders and a player and a bunch of money to get theirs. If the Bears can get theirs by just sacrificing doing a first-round swap and giving up a first-rounder, and now having a guy in a rookie contract for 5 years, that might not be a bad way to go as well. So the Bears, I think the Bears, I don't want to say, for Bears fans, this is going to be a dead off season, but I don't think it's going to be like a super, look at all the flashy stuff like it's been the last couple of years. But they could make a move like that. I think, really the Vikings could too.
Yeah, with Green Bay, I expect maybe you'll get one lower tier high guy or a high middle tier guy, and I think that's going to be about it for Green Bay's free agency stuff, except for like maybe filling out the roster type of shit.
Detroit this year, man, for them this year is a little bit of a teeter year. Like this year, this offseason, I mean, okay, this is a Captain Obvious comment, okay, but this offseason is a make or break as to whether they stay in the window or not. Because they declined significantly this year. I mean, they're still a 9-win team. But if they don't make some significant improvements on their offensive line and maybe a couple other places, they may continue to decline. So if they're, if they catch it and do the right things this offseason, that's going to keep them in this window. It's going to be interesting. Oh, really?
It's not a surprise.
Yeah, I was going to say I've heard a little bit of rumors.
But for Tyreek Hill, though, let me go to look at this. Gets interesting though. Tyreek Hill, that is not a simple release or don't release question because he's injured. So if he's a post June 1st cut, you save $35 million, you lose 15.9. So that makes a lot of sense for them. Now that would make him and Chubb both designated. They're 2 designees, right? And they're going to save $55 million. They're negative 17 right now. With them cutting Chubb and Hill, making them both post June 1st on paper, saves them almost $56 million. But the problem with Tyreek Hill is that it's not that simple. Because Tyreek Hill was on the injured reserve to end the year, and he's still hurt. And now you have to give him a compensation package as well as the cut. Right? It's not as simple like Chubb, you can just cut. He's not hurt. Tyreek Hill being injured, now he has to get a compensation package, correct? You can't just cut him.
Yeah, I think you got to make some type of injury settlement.
Yeah.
You know, I was just thinking about it. Oh man, see, that's actually what I was going to say is I think Tyreek Hill going to Detroit makes a lot of sense, dude. Like you add him with JMO, or I don't know if you're going to keep JMO, right? Like, but isn't JMO a free agent?
They just
re-signed him. That's what I was thinking. But so you have JMO, you have Amon Ra, and then you add Tyreek Hill to that.
Yeah, but you'd have to have a quarterback that can throw downfield to get it to him.
Oh, Goff can throw downfield.
Yeah,
it's just
here's the
not
problem with
consistently.
Tyreek Hill is injured.
Mhm.
You don't know what you're getting with him right now. He's going to miss what? About half the season?
and that's fine because then all you have to really do is if you can be at 500 halfway through the season and then he comes back and he's anything like the old Tyreek Hill, like you're primed to make a run. And the fact that he's injured means his contract is going to be very team friendly.
And his agent, by the way, is Drew Rosenhaus.
I spoke too soon. Drew always gets the most for his players, dude. Drew's a really good agent.
Injury-wise for him, I mean, injuries aren't bad for him overall. I mean, 2021, he missed a week because of COVID. And then the knee injury in last year's got him, obviously, where he's out. And it was pretty significant. I don't know how much money he would get as a contract, but it makes sense if the NFL or for the Dolphins to cut him. I don't know if the Lions would want for two reasons. One, you got JMO, or three reasons. You got JMO, you got St. Brown. Two, the injury. Three, the locker room presence might be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I honestly think it makes a lot of sense, man. I get what JB is saying. You have more needs than wide receiver. And I don't necessarily think that wide receiver is even really a need for you. But if you have the chance to upgrade that wide receiver room by adding Tyreek Hill to it, I think it's at least worth kicking the tires on it, dude. Like
Yes.
if you even get 60% of Tyreek, it's still a net addition to your wide receiving core, dude. So I mean that it makes sense to me, and you have the money. The Lions have money that they just haven't been spending, so why not? But it's interesting
let me look
that
at the Lions. I think they have like $60 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be the only move that you make
The Lions
either. Like
have. Oh no, the negative. They're negative, dude. The Lions are negative $10.3 million right now.
What? I thought they had $40 million at the end of last
They're negative
this last season.
No, they're according to Over the Cap, they are negative $10.3 million with 52 signed to the roster already. So that's good. Now you could do look at if you restructure Goff, you could possibly save 40. You could possibly save another 21 on St. Brown. Alan McNeil can save you 17. Penei Sewell, you have 15 mil. Taylor Decker, 10 mil. DJ Reed, another 10 mil. So they got some guys they can do some restructures with and free up some cap space. But believe it or not, no, they have 52 signed and they're 10 million over right now. Wow. Yeah, the futures contracts. Yeah, I got it. I mean, all the teams have that, JV. But I mean, they're actually sitting in a pretty good spot compared to some other teams right now. But they got a lot of people they can restructure and free up a lot of money. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Tyreek makes sense for them.
What is Tyreek's current market value on Spotrac?
It doesn't give it. It doesn't have it for him.
Oh, because he's injured.
Yeah, they've got him listed now as a free agent. So that's a change that was just literally made. He wasn't listed as a free agent a few moments ago. That's interesting. So Spotrac is listing Tyreek Hill as a free agent.
As much as I'm not really a fan of him as a person, I wouldn't mind if the price was right. I wouldn't mind bringing him to Las Vegas so he could cook Kansas City for us a couple times. I'd love to see him do to them what he used to do to us. They'd like
Tyreek Hill get-
catch a slant and take it to the house, like.
This is breaking, guys, I believe. Did they actually? They did that. Adam Schefter reported 11 minutes ago. They are moving on from Tyreek Hill. Breaking news: Tyreek Hill has officially been cut. Wow, that broke while we were on air. 11 minutes ago. So Tyreek Hill is now a free agent. So they cut Hill and Chubb, saving $55 million in cap.
Tua's next.
Yep.
They're not going to cut him, but they're definitely going to try to trade him. At this point, I think they trade him for a ham sandwich just to get that money off the books.
Mm-hmm.
Which signals to me Dolphins are going full rebuild, which I think is smart.
Yep.
I agree with you. That's that last year. Look at Tyreek Hill last year made $30 million. That was his AAV last year. 32 years old.
Oh,
This thing's 31.9 coming off the knee. I totally get why they cut him, but he is a freakish kind of guy. He's not going to get 30 mil. How much you think Tyreek's going to get in the market?
Teens.
maybe for 1 year. I think he'll get a contract that's like 2 or 3 years with team options, but like where the first year will kind of be a prove it year, but then like the second year will be, he'll get back up into that 30 a year range. And then the thing is for Tyreek though, is even if the knee slows him down a little bit, even if he loses a step, Tyreek is so much faster than anyone else that slowing him down a step, he's still faster than everyone else.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
what I'm saying. He's a little freakish in that way. It's going to be interesting now. Tyreek Hill.
I think it's a good. I think it's a high risk, high reward move for somebody who's looking for a game changing receiver.
I think with Tyreek though, Tyreek goes to a team where he doesn't have to be the guy.
And Baltimore, like somebody brought up in the comments, Baltimore, that makes perfect sense too. Can you imagine pairing him with Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, King Henry? Like that might be the one piece that they need to take them over the top, man.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, I got a question because we forgot to do something today, by the way. We have a Jag-off in the audience. Yinzer. What about
the Steelers make sense too? Yeah. The Steelers make a lot of sense too. Pairing him with DK, like, Aaron Rodgers is going to need all the help he can get.
Buffalo?
Oh, Buffalo, in my opinion, Buffalo would be the best place as far as where he could make the most impact, like pairing him with Josh Allen. And the need is really there.
San Francisco.
But does Buffalo have the money to sign him is the question, though.
Yeah.
San Francisco makes sense too. They have need at receiver, and I think they have more money.
Yinzer's comment.
Yeah, or the Pats. Yeah, dude. Pairing him with Diggs and Kayshon Boutte, like.
I mean, I don't see anyone in the North signing him. Honestly, I just don't. I mean, the Packers make sense on some level.
He'd have to be cheap.
Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, those receiving rooms are packed.
I don't think the Giants do it.
Green Bay would give him a legit wide receiver, though. They've been kind of looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the problem is, though, he'd have to be the guy, and you hope that one of these other guys, the Packer fans, every year hope, like, does Golden become the guy, a better guy next year? Is Christian going to be, it solves some of the problem for Green Bay, but I don't know if it's the right fit for Green Bay. I think he needs to go to a team where, there's already another guy like a DK there or someone else. Like even the Raiders to me doesn't make sense because again, he's the guy, and you need another guy there to kind of take some of the burden off him, especially coming off the knee injury.
Yeah. If it's me though, if I'm the Raiders, I'm like, I'm gonna go make Pickens an offer, and then I'm gonna go make Tyreek an offer and see what happens. Because you get both of those guys, all of a sudden you're cooking with something, dude.
Now
Add
you're
them to
cooking with
Brock
grease.
Bowers and Genty and
Yeah.
fixing the offensive line. Like you could go potentially from the worst offense in the league to a top 5 or 10 offense in one season.
I can say this: we're finally starting to see some player movement today. Finally. And now the offseason is finally going to start to get a little interesting. And I'm wondering now we're seeing some releases by the Dolphins today, signaling, of course, that they're going to be, by them doing what they're doing today, it takes any trade value for Tua, it kind of tanks it a little bit. Because everyone knows the Dolphins are in rebuild mode now. So the price they can extract might have just got, not that it was going to be that high anyways for Tua, but it just took a hit, let's be honest. I think we'll start to see some other cuts and some re-signings starting to happen because these guys have to have been working on contracts the last week or more. Hill back at Kansas City is interesting too. That could happen.
I hope
not. Yeah, the aquatic sea mammals aren't going to be going to the rape cave anytime soon. This is getting interesting. I'm hoping we'll start to see some re-signings this week.
I mean, maybe they're not going full rebuild, but they're
going damn close.
They're doing some major renovation. Let's say that.
That'd be an understatement.
They got to spruce up the
I think it's smart for them. I think it's smart for them. We've been saying already that they need to clear these big money contracts off the books and start refreshing that team with young drafted talent, or even young, inexpensive free agent talent for now.
What's the start date of the 2026 season officially?
It's like the middle of March, like March 11th or something.
Say that. Yeah, March 11th is when the new league year starts.
All right, so maybe we won't see anything until then with some of these. So right now, the free agent negotiation window opens. Guess when? Wait, that's last year. No, it is this year. No, that's this year. February 17th, free agent negotiation window opens. So now that's the date for current teams, I believe. But according to the free agent window opens tomorrow, so we might start seeing stuff tomorrow. We could start to see some contracts come into place. Wow. Okay, actually, begin tomorrow on the 17th, which is also the day, by the way, my son going to the Air Force. The clubs can start doing franchise and transition tags. The combine is the 23rd through the 4th, March 2nd. March 3rd is the deadline for tags. And then we start getting bigger numbers. So we're starting to get into those dates. So, yeah. And, hey, we're out of time. JB's up next. We started late. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Some good stuff happening. Have a good one.